Welcome back. Let's dive into something we've all faced at some point: being ignored by someone you care about. It's frustrating, confusing, and can leave you questioning what to do next. But today, we're exploring a stoic approach that not only helps you navigate these moments with grace, but can actually strengthen your relationships in the process. Stick around, because this isn't just advice, it's a mindset shift that can transform how you respond to the silence. Have you ever heard the words of Marcus Aurelius? He said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." It's a powerful reminder that our reactions define us, not the actions of others. Instead of letting hurt or anger take over, we can choose to rise above, maintaining our integrity and composure. This isn't about ignoring the situation. It's about reclaiming your power and showing that your peace is untouchable. Before we jump in, take a moment to affirm this shift in perspective. Drop the words, "I rise above," in the comments. Let this phrase be a mantra, a reminder that no matter what happens, your response will always come from a place of strength and clarity. Let's get started. Have you ever felt like someone else's mood swings had control over your entire day? It's as if their silence or coldness pulled invisible strings, making you second-guess yourself, question your worth, or even doubt the relationship. It's time to cut those strings. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Take a moment to let that sink in. It's not the silence itself that hurts, it's the meaning we attach to it. What if, instead of spiraling into anxiety or frustration, you chose to detach from the drama? Imagine someone giving you the cold shoulder. Instead of reacting with hurt or overcompensating, you acknowledge it lightly, maybe even with a touch of humor. You could say something like, "Looks like someone's turned on their invisible mode." Then, go about your day, unaffected, keeping your peace intact. This isn't about ignoring their feelings. It's about choosing not to let their actions dictate your mood. You remain steady, like a ship sailing smoothly through choppy waters. The storm may rage around you, but you're in control of your own course. Over time, this practice transforms not only how you respond, but how others perceive you. You become someone who's centered, grounded, and unwavering. Now let's step back and reflect on the relationships in your life. Are there connections you're holding on to that no longer serve you? Sometimes we cling to relationships out of habit or fear, hoping they'll change or improve. But not every bond is meant to last forever. Plato said it beautifully. Every heart sings a song, incomplete, until another heart whispers back. What if the other heart isn't whispering back anymore? Instead of forcing the harmony, take a step back and reassess. Ask yourself, is this relationship adding value to my life, or is it draining me? Sometimes, a light-hearted and honest conversation is all it takes to address the gap. Sit down with that person and say, "Hey, I've noticed we're out of sync lately. What's going on?" This isn't about blame. It's about understanding whether you're both willing to tune back in, or if it's time to change the playlist. Letting go of relationships that no longer resonate doesn't mean failure. It means growth. It means making space for connections that uplift and inspire you. And in this process, remember to affirm to yourself, "I rise above." Above clinging to what no longer serves you, above the fear of letting go, and into a space of clarity and strength. As you do this, another truth becomes clear. Your happiness should never depend on the actions of someone else. Too often we give others the paintbrush to our lives, expecting them to fill our days with color. But as Marcus Aurelius said, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Think about this. You plan a romantic evening, hoping it will fix a rough patch in your relationship. But when the moment comes, your partner doesn't respond with the enthusiasm you'd hoped for. Disappointment threatens to overshadow your efforts, but then you catch yourself. Instead of letting their reaction define the evening, you decide to find joy in your own effort. Maybe you laugh at the situation, saying, "Well, I guess I made enough pasta to feed the entire neighborhood tonight." This is the essence of self-sufficiency. It's about finding happiness within yourself, independent of how others act. It's enjoying the meal you prepared, not for their response, but for the joy of creating it. When you embrace this mindset, you hold the paintbrush firmly in your own hands, creating the life you want without waiting for someone else to complete it. Each time you find yourself slipping into dependency, remind yourself, I rise above relying on others for your happiness, above disappointment, and into a place of fulfillment and strength. And here's the thing, even obstacles can become opportunities. The moments that frustrate us in relationships, the forgotten anniversaries, the missed calls, are often chances for growth. Ryan Holiday reminds us of this with his words, "The obstacle is the way." That forgotten date. It's an opportunity to communicate, to express your feelings, and to set clear expectations. Instead of reacting with hurt, you might say, "Looks like we're both getting too busy to remember dates. Maybe it's time for that oversized calendar we joked about." Humor lightens the moment, but it also opens the door for a deeper conversation. Each challenge becomes a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. It's not about ignoring the issues. It's about addressing them with patience, understanding, and a willingness to grow. Every interaction, every silence, every misstep is a chance to practice resilience, empathy, and grace. As you navigate these moments, keep the mantra close. I rise above the petty frustrations, above the emotional turbulence, and into a space of growth and deeper connection. This is just the beginning of how you can rise above silence and challenges in relationships. Keep holding on to these principles as we continue this journey of growth and resilience. When someone's silence leaves you feeling frustrated or hurt, it's easy to hold on to resentment. But imagine the weight that carries, the tension, the bitterness. Forgiveness, though, is one of the most liberating acts you can practice. Alexander Pope captured this perfectly when he said, "To err is human, to forgive, divine." Forgiveness isn't just a gift to the other person, it's a gift to yourself. It frees you from carrying the burden of anger and opens the door to peace. Think of a time when someone let you down, like forgetting to call when they were late. It's tempting to let irritation fester, to let it grow into a fight. But what if instead you chose forgiveness? When they finally show up, you could diffuse the tension with humor, saying, "I was about to send a search party, but I guess you saved me the trouble." It's light-hearted, it's disarming, and it creates space for a meaningful conversation without hostility. Forgiveness doesn't mean ignoring issues or tolerating poor behavior. It means choosing not to let those moments derail the entire relationship. It's about addressing the problem, discussing ways to prevent it from happening again, and then letting go of the resentment. Every act of forgiveness strengthens trust and deepens the connection, creating an environment where both people can grow. So, whenever you're faced with a choice between holding on to anger or letting it go, remind yourself, I rise above the petty arguments, above the need to win, and into a space of grace and understanding. Forgiveness doesn't just heal relationships, it strengthens your own sense of peace and resilience. Now, let's talk about the power of trusting your intuition when someone's behavior leaves you feeling uncertain. Shakespeare wrote, "Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string." Your intuition, your inner voice, is a powerful ally, especially when communication is lacking. It's the quiet guide that helps you navigate situations with clarity and confidence. Picture this. Someone you care about has gone silent, and you're left wondering why. Instead of jumping to conclusions or spiraling into worry, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this silence unusual for them? What patterns have I noticed in their behavior? Your intuition might tell you they're dealing with their own struggles, or it might signal that there's something deeper going on in the relationship. Once you've listened to that inner voice, you can act with purpose. Maybe it nudges you to give them space, or maybe it suggests reaching out with a light-hearted message like, "Hey, just checking in to make sure you weren't abducted by aliens. Everything okay on your end?" Trusting your intuition allows you to respond in a way that feels true to yourself, rather than reacting out of fear or insecurity. Your intuition won't always provide clear answers, but it will guide you toward actions that align with your values. And as you navigate these moments, remember, I rise above confusion, above self-doubt, and into a space of trust in yourself and your ability to handle whatever comes your way. At the heart of this journey is honest communication. Silence can create a void filled with assumptions, but as George Bernard Shaw said, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. When someone pulls away, it's tempting to match their silence with your own. But what if, instead, you broke the cycle with openness and vulnerability? Imagine a friend or partner who's been distant. You could retreat into frustration, or you could take the courageous step of reaching out. Say something like, "I've noticed we haven't talked much lately, and I just want to make sure everything's okay. I value our relationship, and I'd love to understand what's going on." This approach isn't about placing blame or demanding explanations. It's about seeking clarity and showing that you care. By addressing the issue directly, you create an opportunity for understanding and resolution, and even if the other person isn't ready to engage, you've taken the high road, maintaining your integrity and commitment to open communication. Remember, I rise above isn't just a mantra. It's a way of showing up in every interaction with grace and strength. Maintaining your virtue is another cornerstone of handling silence with dignity. When someone's behavior disappoints you, the easiest reaction is to mirror it. But as Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. This is your chance to show, not just say, who you are. Let's say someone important to you starts ignoring you. Instead of reacting with bitterness or stooping to their level, you keep your interactions light and kind. Maybe you send a humorous message like, "Just wanted to make sure you haven't turned into a statue. You've been so quiet lately." By maintaining your composure, you preserve your self-respect and keep the door open for a healthy resolution. Living your values in these moments isn't just about staying true to yourself. It's about inspiring others to do the same. When you lead with kindness, humor, and respect, even in the face of silence or distance, you set an example that others are more likely to follow. I rise above becomes a lived truth, not just words. Every challenge you face in relationships is an opportunity to embody these principles, to forgive, to trust yourself, to communicate openly, and to hold fast to your values. These moments, though difficult, are the very ones that shape you into a stronger, more compassionate person. Keep holding on to that mantra, I rise above. Each time you say it, you reinforce your commitment to living with grace and strength, no matter what comes your way. Together, we're building a mindset that not only transforms how we handle silence and challenges, but how we live every day. When you embrace the mindset of rising above, you begin to see every interaction, every silence, every challenge, as an opportunity to grow stronger and more grounded in who you are. This growth requires a level of intentionality that's both empowering and liberating. One of the most transformative tools in this journey is visualization. By imagining the ideal version of yourself responding with calm, confidence and grace, you can prepare for life's challenges and ensure your actions align with your values. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." This isn't about perfection, it's about preparation. Imagine a moment when someone close to you gives you the silent treatment. Instead of reacting impulsively or letting frustration take over, you pause. You visualize how the best version of yourself would handle this. You see yourself responding with humor, patience, and wisdom. Perhaps you say something like, "Looks like we're having a contest to see who can stay quiet the longest. I think you're winning, but I'm here when you're ready to talk." This simple act of visualization shifts your mindset before the real interaction happens. It primes you to respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally. The beauty of this practice is that it builds resilience. Each time you mentally rehearse your ideal response, you strengthen your ability to handle difficult situations with grace and composure. Visualization also helps you identify the triggers that might otherwise derail you. By mentally rehearsing these scenarios, you can anticipate potential challenges and prepare yourself to rise above them. For example, if you know that silence from someone tends to make you feel insecure, you can visualize yourself remaining steady and confident, reminding yourself that their actions don't define your worth. Think of this practice like rehearsing for a play. Actors spend countless hours preparing their lines and movements so that when they step onto the stage, their performance feels natural. Similarly, when you visualize your responses, you're rehearsing for life's moments of tension and uncertainty. And just like those actors, when the moment comes, you'll be ready to deliver your best. But visualization isn't just about preparing for specific moments. It's about aligning your actions with your deepest values. When you mentally rehearse responding with patience, kindness, and strength, you're training yourself to embody those qualities in every aspect of your life. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, transforming not just how you handle silence or conflict, but how you show up in all your relationships. As you practice this, remember the mantra, "I rise above." Every time you say it, you're affirming your commitment to responding thoughtfully, to choosing grace over frustration, and to living in alignment with your highest self. Visualization isn't just a mental exercise. It's a way of creating a version of yourself that handles life's challenges with dignity and poise. Now, let's explore another essential principle: detachment from outcomes. When you're ignored or overlooked, it's natural to hope for a specific response, an apology, a change in behavior, or at least some acknowledgement of your effort. But Stoicism teaches us that while we can control our actions and intentions, we cannot control the reactions of others. Epictetus famously said, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." This wisdom reminds us that our focus should be on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and responses. The reactions of others are beyond our reach, and attaching our happiness or peace of mind to them only leads to disappointment. Imagine you've reached out to someone who's been distant. You've expressed your feelings with kindness and clarity, perhaps even infused a bit of humor to lighten the mood. Despite your best efforts, they remain unresponsive. It's tempting to let this lack of response eat away at you, to feel discouraged or resentful. But this is where detachment comes in. You remind yourself, "I rise above." Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means finding peace regardless of the outcome. You've done your part. You've acted with integrity and kindness. What happens next is out of your control, and that's okay. This mindset frees you from the emotional roller coaster of expectation and allows you to focus on what truly matters: your own growth and well-being. When you detach from outcomes, you create space for genuine connection. People are more likely to respond positively when they don't feel pressured or manipulated. Detachment fosters an environment where relationships can thrive on mutual respect and authenticity rather than being weighed down by unspoken expectations. This practice isn't always easy. It requires a shift in perspective, a willingness to accept that not everyone will respond the way you hope. But over time, detachment becomes a source of strength. It allows you to maintain your peace and dignity no matter how others behave. As you embrace this principle, remember, I rise above the need for validation, above the disappointment of unmet expectations, and into a space of inner calm. Detachment isn't about giving up. It's about letting go of what you can't control so you can focus on what you can. Every time you detach from an outcome, you're reinforcing your independence and self-worth. You're reminding yourself that your value doesn't depend on anyone else's actions or approval. This is the essence of stoic freedom, living in harmony with whatever life presents, without being shaken by the unpredictable behavior of others. Take a moment now to reflect on a situation where you've been holding on to an expectation. What would it feel like to let it go? To trust that you've done your part and release the rest? As you let go, repeat the mantra, I rise above. Feel the weight lift, the tension ease, and the freedom that comes with detachment. Through visualization and detachment, you're building a mindset that not only strengthens your relationships, but also empowers you to live with grace and resilience. This isn't just about handling silence or conflict. It's about becoming the kind of person who faces life's challenges with courage, clarity, and unwavering strength. As you deepen your understanding of these Stoic principles, you start to realize the incredible strength you possess. Each moment of silence or conflict becomes less about what someone else is doing and more about how you choose to respond. You're no longer defined by the actions of others, but by the values you embody. This is where your true power lies, not in controlling external circumstances, but in mastering your own mind and actions. The final piece of this journey is the integration of everything we've explored. It's about living these principles daily, allowing them to shape your interactions, your mindset, and your relationships. Imagine waking up in the morning, no longer burdened by the fear of being ignored or the need for external validation. Instead, you carry a quiet confidence, knowing that your peace and happiness come from within. Let's revisit a scenario you might encounter. Someone important to you continues to act distant. In the past, this might have sent you into a spiral of overthinking, trying to analyze every detail, every word exchanged. But now, you approach the situation differently. You take a moment to reflect, grounding yourself in the mantra, I rise above. You remind yourself that their behavior is not a reflection of your worth. With this clarity, you decide how to proceed. Maybe you choose to give them space, trusting that the connection will find its way back naturally. Or maybe you reach out with kindness and humor, saying, I've noticed you've been quiet lately, just checking in to make sure you're okay. Whatever you decide, your actions come from a place of authenticity and strength, not from a need to fix or control. This shift in approach doesn't just change how you feel, it changes how others perceive and respond to you. When you act with composure and self-assurance, you create an atmosphere of respect and understanding. You're no longer chasing their attention, you're inviting connection on equal terms. And that energy, it's magnetic. Another key element of integration is consistency. It's not about being perfect every time. There will be moments when old habits resurface. But each time you catch yourself and return to these principles, you're reinforcing the foundation of your growth. Over time, these practices become second nature. They're not just tools you use in difficult moments. they're the way you live. Think about the impact this has on your relationships. By detaching from outcomes, you remove the pressure that often creates tension. By maintaining your virtue, you set a standard of respect and kindness that others are inspired to meet. By trusting your intuition and communicating openly, you foster deeper, more meaningful connections. And by practicing forgiveness and finding joy within yourself, you create an environment where love and trust can flourish. But this transformation isn't just about relationships with others, it's about your relationship with yourself. You've learned to value your time, your energy, and your peace. You've reclaimed the power to shape your own happiness, independent of anyone else's actions. This self-respect is the cornerstone of everything you've built. It's the reason you can walk through life with your head held high, unshaken by the storms around you. Imagine this version of yourself. You're calm, centered, and confident. When challenges arise, you meet them with grace. When someone pulls away, you don't chase. You step back and reflect. When conflict arises, you address it with clarity and empathy. And when silence fills the space, you find peace in the stillness, knowing that your worth isn't tied to anyone else's voice. Let this vision guide you. Each day, take a moment to affirm the principles you're living. Say it aloud. I rise above. Let these words remind you of your strength, your resilience, and your commitment to living with intention. You're not just handling difficult situations, you're transforming them into opportunities for growth and connection. As you continue on this journey, remember that you're not alone. Every challenge you face is a chance to deepen your understanding of yourself and others. Every silence is an invitation to practice patience and self-reflection, and every interaction is an opportunity to embody the values you hold dear. Thank you for walking this path of growth and resilience. You've shown that no matter the situation, you have the power to rise above. Carry these principles with you and let them guide you toward a life filled with peace, strength, and meaningful connections. You are capable, you are resilient, and you are unstoppable. I rise above. As you fully integrate these Stoic principles into your daily life, you'll notice a profound transformation, not just in how you handle being ignored or misunderstood, but in the way you approach all relationships and challenges. The beauty of this journey is that it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Each day, as you live these principles, you strengthen your ability to rise above and stay anchored in your inner peace. For example, let's say a loved one expresses frustration about something you've done. Instead of reacting defensively, you listen. You acknowledge their feelings, even if you don't fully agree with their perspective. You might say, I hear what you're saying, and I appreciate you sharing how you feel. Let's talk about how we can move forward. This response not only diffuses tension, but also shows that you're committed to understanding and improving the relationship. These moments of grace and clarity don't just strengthen your connections with others, they deepen your relationship with yourself. You begin to trust your ability to handle challenges with composure and wisdom. You realize that no matter what life throws your way, you have the tools to navigate it with resilience and dignity. But this journey isn't just about relationships. It's about creating a life that feels aligned with your values and aspirations. As you rise above, you start to focus more on what truly matters to you. You let go of the need to please everyone or meet unrealistic expectations. Instead, you prioritize your own growth, happiness, and well-being. Think about how this applies to your daily life. You wake up each morning with a sense of purpose, no longer weighed down by the opinions or actions of others. You approach your work, your hobbies, and your interactions with intention, knowing that each moment is an opportunity to live authentically. You're no longer chasing approval or validation. You're simply living in a way that feels true to who you are. This doesn't mean you'll never face challenges or moments of doubt. There will still be times when you feel frustrated, uncertain, or hurt. But the difference now is that you have the tools to navigate those moments with grace. You've learned to pause, reflect, and respond in ways that align with your values. You've embraced the mantra, I rise above. Each time you say these words, you reinforce your commitment to living with strength and clarity. You remind yourself that your peace and happiness are within your control, no matter what's happening around you. And with each step you take, you move closer to the life you've envisioned, a life filled with meaningful connections, inner peace, and a deep sense of purpose. As you continue this journey, remember that rising above isn't a destination. It's a practice. It's a choice you make every day to live with integrity, to approach challenges with resilience, and to create relationships and experiences that align with your values. This is the essence of the Stoic mindset, finding freedom and fulfillment by focusing on what you can control and letting go of the rest. Carry this mantra with you, I rise above. Let it guide you as you navigate life's complexities, reminding you of the strength and wisdom you've cultivated. And as you move forward, know that every step you take brings you closer to the person you're becoming, the person who rises above, who lives with intention, and who inspires others to do the same. This is your journey, and you're walking it with grace, courage, and unwavering strength. You rise above.